Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are discussing a very important topic, that is Cushing syndrome and Cushing disease. These are very common cases and you frequently encounter patients of Cushing syndrome in medical wards as well as in pulmonology, rheumatology and oncology departments. What is Cushing syndrome? Cushing syndrome is a characteristic group of manifestations caused by excessive circulating free cortisol, a condition resulting from long-term exposure to excessive glucocorticoids. The term Cushing disease is reserved for Cushing syndrome that is caused by excessive secretion of adrenocorticotropin hormone ACTH by a pituitary tumor, usually an adenoma. What are the essentials of diagnosis? Central obesity, muscle wasting, hirsutism, purpose tria, psychological changes, osteoporosis, hypertension, poor wound healing, hyperglycemia, leukocytosis, lymphocytopenia, hypokalemia, elevated serum cortisol and urinary free cortisol, lack of normal suppression by dexamethasone. As far as general considerations, the term Cushing syndrome refers to the manifestations of excessive glucocorticoids, commonly due to supraphysiological doses of corticosteroid drugs and rarely due to spontaneous production of excessive cortisol by the adrenal cortex. Causes of spontaneous Cushing syndrome are rare, with an incidence of 2.6 new cases yearly per million population in the United States. About 68% of cases are due to Cushing disease caused by a benign ACTH secreting pituitary adenoma that is smaller than 5 mm and usually located in the interior pituitary in about 94% of cases. However, 6% of such adenomas are ectopic in locations such as the cavernous sinus, sphenoid sinus, ethmoid sinus, or posterior pituitary. Cushing disease is at least 3 times more frequent in women than men. About 7% of cases are due to non-pituitary ACTH secreting neuroendocrine neoplasms that produce ectopic ACTH. Ectopic locations include the lungs in about 55%, pancreas 9%, mediastinum thymus 8%, adrenal 6%, gastrointestinal tract 5%. Cushing syndrome presents with a wide array of clinical findings. Signs and symptoms. The manifestations of Cushing syndrome vary considerably. Early in the course of the disease, patients frequently complain of non-specific symptoms such as fatigue or reduced endurance, but may have few, if any, of the physical stigmata described below. Central obesity with the plethoric moon face, buffalo hump, supraclavicular fat pads, protuberant abdomen, and thin extremities eventually develop in most patients with Cushing syndrome, and it can be narrated as the clinical findings. Signs and symptoms can be described as a lemon or orange placed on a matchstick. Muscle atrophy causes weakness with difficulty standing up from a seated position or climbing stairs. Patient may also experience backache, headache, hypertension, osteoporosis, avascular necrosis of bone, acne, superficial skin infections, and oligomenorrhea or amenorrhea in women, or erectile dysfunction in men. Patients may have thirst or polyuria with or without glycosuria, renal calculi, glaucoma, purpose stria, especially around the thighs, breasts, and abdomen, and easy bruisability. Usual, unusual bacterial or fungal infections are common. Wound healing is impaired. Mental symptoms may range from diminished ability to concentrate to increased lability of mood to frank psychosis. Patients are susceptible to opportunistic infections. Hyperpigmentation is common with ectopic ACTH secretion secreting neoplasm, but not with pituitary Cushing disease. After bilateral adrenalectomy for Cushing disease, the pituitary adenoma enlarges, which causes local symptoms such as visual disturbances and hyperpigmentation, that is termed as Nelson syndrome. This is a picture of symptoms of Cushing syndrome: generalized weight gain, slow healing of cutis, increased risk of infection, fatigue, glucose intolerance, headache, moon face, buffalo hump, as already I described. What are laboratory findings? Glucose tolerance is impaired as a result of insulin resistance. Polyuria is present as a result of increased free water clearance. Diabetes mellitus with glycosuria may worsen it. Patients with Cushing syndrome often have leukocytosis with relative granulocytosis and lymphopenia. Hypokalemia may be present, particularly in cases of ectopic ACTH secretion. Again, physical examination which you will have to do. On looking, patient may be having obesity. Patient may have increased adipose tissue in the face, that is moon faces, upper back at the base of the neck, buffalo hump, and above the clavicles, supraclavicular fat pads. Central obesity with increased adipose tissue in the mediastinum and peritoneum, increased waist to hip ratio greater than 1 in men and 0.8 in women, and upon CT scan of the abdomen, increased visceral fat is evident. Cardiovascular and renal manifestations: hypertension and possibly edema may be present due to cortisol activation of the mineralocorticoid receptor, leading to sodium and water retention. Gastroenterological: peptic ulceration may occur with or without symptoms, particularly at risk are patients given high doses of glucocorticoids, rare in endogenous hypercortisolism. You may see facial plethora, violaceous stria, often wider than 0.5 cm, are observed most commonly over the abdomen, buttocks, lower back, upper thighs, upper arms, and breast. Patient may have telangiectasia and purpura, cutaneous atrophy with exposure of subcutaneous vasculature tissue, and tenting of skin may be evident. Glucocorticoid excess may cause increased laryngofascial hair. Ecchymosis may be present. Acanthosis nigricans, which is associated with insulin resistance and hyperinsulinism, may be present. The most common sites are axilla, and areas of frequent rubbing such as over elbows, around the neck, and under the breasts. This is a picture which describes buffalo hump. refers to an unsightly hump of fat that develops at the top of the back between the shoulders. It can arise from a variety of conditions that are characterized by an increase in cortisol or glucocorticoid levels in the bloodstream. This is a picture of hirsutism. It develops because adrenal glands make too much cortisol, or it can occur congenital adrenal hyperplasia. This inherited condition is characterized by abnormal production of steroid hormones, including cortisol and androgen, by your adrenal glands. Easy bruisability in Cushing disease. Forearm of a 42-year man with Cushing disease showing multiple ecchymoses due to minimal trauma. Picture depicting proximal muscle wasting and weakness are common in Cushing syndrome, being induced by the catabolic effects of excess glucocorticoids on skeletal muscles. As a result, many patients cannot rise from a squatting position without assistance. Patients with more severe disease may be unable to climb stairs or get up from a deep chair. Muscle weakness and wasting are rare in patients with pseudo-Cushing syndrome. Skin hyperpigmentation, that is accentuated over the knuckles. Hyperpigmentation occurs in patients with other causes of chronic ACTH excess, such as Cushing disease or primary adrenal insufficiency. This is a relative percentage of clinical manifestations. Weight gain in about 90% of cases, moon phases 70, and so on. Hypokalemic metabolic alkalosis in 50%, 15%. Again, physical examination, you may see endocrine galactorrhea may occur when anterior pituitary tumor compress the pituitary stalk, leading to elevated prolactin levels. Hypothyroidism may occur from an anterior pituitary tumor whose size interferes with proper thyroid releasing hormone and thyroid stimulating hormone function. Low testosterone levels in men may lead to decreased testicular volume from inhibition of LHRH and luteinizing follicular stimulating hormone function. Skeletal muscular manifestation and examination. Proximal muscle weakness may be evident. Osteoporosis may lead to incident fractures and kyphosis, height loss, and axial skeletal bone pain. Avascular necrosis of the hip is also possible from glucocorticoid excess. Neurological, emotional lability, fatigue and depression. Visual field defects, often bilateral, and blurred vision may occur in individuals with large ACTH producing pituitary tumors that impinge on the optic chiasm. In history and physical examination, again you may see new onset of worsening of hypertension and diabetes, difficulty with wound healing, increased infection. Patient with Cushing disease may develop headache, polyuria and nocturia, visual problems, galactorrhea. Rapid onset of symptoms of glucocorticoid excess in conjunction with virilization in women and feminization in men suggest an adrenal carcinoma as the underlying cause of the Cushing syndrome. So far, etiology: ACTH independent, ACTH dependent, and common causes of ectopic ACTH, that is bronchial carcinoid tumors, islet cell carcinoma, small cell lung carcinoma, medullary thyroid carcinoma, thymic carcinoid tumor, pancreatic carcinoid tumor, pheochromocytoma, disseminated neuroendocrine tumors. How we diagnose case of Cushing syndrome? A wide array of investigations are utilized in the diagnosis of Cushing syndrome. Diagnostic tests for hypercortisolism. late night, that is 10 to 11 p.m. salivary cortisol determinations, particularly useful, particularly for ACTI dependent hypercortisolism. Late night salivary cortisol levels are normally 150 nanogram per deciliter. Late night salivary cortisol levels that are consistently greater than 250 nanogram per deciliter or 7 nanomole per liter are considered very abnormal. The late night salivary cortisol test has a relative high sensitivity and specificity for Cushing syndrome. Second test, the overnight dexamethasone suppression test, and easy screening test for hypercortisolism, and is particularly sensitive for mild ACTH, independent hypercortisolism from an adrenal nodule. Dexamethasone 1 mg given orally at 11 p.m. and serum is collected for cortisol determination at AM the next morning. A cortisol level less than 1.8 microgram per deciliter or 50 nanomole per liter, high performance liquid chromatography HPLC assay exclude Cushing syndrome with some certainty. However, 8% of established patients with pituitary Cushing disease have dexamethasone suppressed cortisol level less than 2 milligram per deciliter or 55 nanomole per liter. Anti-seizure drugs, phenytoin, phenobarbital, primidone, and rifampicin accelerate the metabolism of dexamethasone, causing a lack of cortisol suppression by dexamethasone. Estrogens during pregnancy or oral contraceptives or hormone replacement therapy may also cause lack of dexamethasone suppressibility. A 24-hour urinary free cortisol and creatinine is usually used to confirm hypercortisolism in patients with a high late night salivary cortisol or an abnormal dexamethasone suppression test. A high 24-hour urine free cortisol greater than 50 microgram per day or 140 nanomole per day in adults, or free cortisol to creatinine ratio of greater than 95 microgram cortisol per gram creatinine helps confirm hypercortisolism. However, many patients with mild hypercortisolism have a urinary free cortisol that is misleading within the reference range when measured by liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry. A high misleading high urinary free cortisol secretion occurs with high fluid intake. Diagnostic test for the source of hypercortisolism. Once the hypercortisolism is confirmed, a plasma ACTH and plasma DHEAS are obtained. A plasma ACTH below 6 picogram per ml with the low serum DHEAS indicates a probable adrenal tumor, whereas higher levels are produced by pituitary or ectopic ACTH secreting tumors. Certain ACTH assays suffer interference and report low normal plasma ACTH levels in patients with ACTH independent hypercortisolism. What imaging modalities we use in determination of Cushing syndrome and Cushing disease? In ACTH independent Cushing syndrome, CT scan of the adrenal usually detects a mass lesion, which is most often an adrenal adenoma. Adrenocortical carcinomas can usually be distinguished from benign adrenal adenomas since they are generally large, average 11 cm diameter, and many have metastases that are visible on perioperative scans. In ACTH-dependent Cushing syndrome, MRI of the pituitary demonstrate a pituitary lesion in about 50% of cases. Premature cerebral atrophy is often noted. When the pituitary MRI is normal or shows a tiny less than 5 mm diameter irregularity that may be incidental, selective catheterization of the inferior petrosal sinus veins, draining the pituitary is performed. ACTH levels in the inferior petrosal sinus that are more than twice the simultaneous peripheral venous ACTH levels are indicative of pituitary Cushing disease. Radiological investigation we utilize in the diagnosis of Cushing syndrome and Cushing disease. Cushing disease investigation: microadenoma tumor in the pituitary. Adrenal Cushing investigation: adenoma, and on the right a carcinoma, huge tumor. This is a MRI pituitary. A pituitary adenoma can be seen, but it is often small and not visible in a significant proportion of cases. A yellow arrow indicates adenoma. Chest X-ray: there is a mass in the left hilar. It is used in patients with suspected ectopic ACTH production. The ACTH secreting tumors are often small cell carcinomas of the lung, that is bronchus carcinoma. Radio labeled octreotide scintigraphy involves injection of a radioactive substance followed by an imaging scan, occasionally used in locating ectopic ACTH tumors. A red tumor indicated by a white arrow. Location of ectopic source of ACTH with CT scanning of the chest and abdomen with special attention to the lungs for carcinoids or small cell carcinoma, the thymus, the pancreas, and the adrenals. In patients with ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome, chest masses should not be assumed to be the source of ACTH since opportunistic infections are common, so it is prudent to biopsy a chest mass to confirm the pathologic diagnosis prior to resection. For Cushing syndrome due to ectopic ACTH, CT scanning fails to detect the source of ACTH in about 34% of cases. In such cases, the most sensitive 82% sensitivity scanning technique is whole body imaging with 68 gallium somatostatin receptor. The next most sensitive 58% sensitivity scanning technique is whole body imaging with 18 fluorodeoxydopa PET CT. This is ectopic ACTH secretion produced in small cell lung carcinoma 50%, thymic carcinoid 15%, islet cell tumor 10%, bronchial carcinoid 10%, carcinoid 5%, and pheochromocytoma 2%. This is an algorithm you can use to approach for Cushing syndrome. What are the differential diagnoses? That is pseudo-Cushing, simple obesity, type 2 diabetes mellitus, alcoholic Cushing syndrome, no drinking for 1 week, plasma cortisol and urinary free cortisol become normal, depression, lack of clinical manifestation Cushing syndrome. Alcoholic patients can have hypercortisolism and many clinical manifestations of Cushing syndrome. Pregnant women have elevated serum ACTH levels, increased urine free cortisol, and high serum cortisol levels due to high serum levels of cortisol binding globulin. Critically ill patients frequently have hypercortisolism, usually with suppression of serum ACTH. Depressed patients also have hypercortisolism that can be nearly impossible to distinguish biochemically from Cushing syndrome, but without clinical signs of Cushing syndrome. Cushing syndrome can be misdiagnosed as anorexia nervosa owing to muscle wasting and extraordinary high urine free cortisol levels found in anorexia. Patients with severe obesity frequently have an abnormal dexamethasone suppression test, but the urine free cortisol is usually normal, as is diurnal variation of serum cortisol. Patients with familial cortisol resistance have hyperadrenergism, hypertension, and hypercortisolism without actual Cushing syndrome. Excessive ingestion of gamma hydroxybutyric acid (GHB) sodium oxybate can also induce ACTI dependent Cushing syndrome that resolves after the drug is stopped. Some adolescents develop violaceous stria on the abdomen, back, and breast. These are known as stria distensi and are not indicative of Cushing syndrome. Patients receiving antiviral retroviral therapy for HIV-1 infection frequently develop partial lipodystrophy with thin extremities and central obesity with the dorsocervical fat pad, that is buffalo hump, causing pseudo-Cushing syndrome. Patients with familial partial lipodystrophy type 1 develop central obesity and moon faces along with thin extremities due to atrophy of subcutaneous fat. However, these patients' muscles are strong and may be hypertrophic, distinguishing this condition from Cushing syndrome. Clinical pulse you can use in diagnosing or distinguishing Cushing syndrome from Cushing disease. Cushing disease is due to excessive ACTI secretion from a pituitary tumor, resulting in corticosteroid excess. Cushing syndrome is due to excessive corticosteroid exposure from exogenous sources, medications, and endogenous sources, pituitary, adrenal, pulmonary, or tumor. Depression, alcoholism, medication, eating disorders, and other conditions that cause mild clinical and laboratory findings similar to those in Cushing syndrome. These are termed as pseudo-Cushing syndrome. Treatment modalities used in the treatment of Cushing syndrome and Cushing disease. Untreated chronic hypercortisolism is associated with high morbidity and mortality owing to diabetes mellitus, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, thromboembolism, and suppression of the immune system. Cushing syndrome should be treated effectively. Patients should be closely monitored to rapidly detect recurrent disease. Again, cause iatrogenic, pituitary, adrenal, ectopic, ACTH. Treatment of pituitary corticotropinomas, transsaphenidal pituitary surgery. The initial therapy of choice for patients with Cushing disease is transsaphenidal surgery. This procedure is associated with low mortality and morbidity, but complications can include cerebrospinal fluid leaks, meningitis, hypopituitarism, and venous thromboembolism. Treatment of adrenal disease, adrenocortical tumors. For adrenocortical tumors, the recommended treatment is surgery. Laparoscopic adrenalectomy has become the treatment of choice for benign adrenal lesions with a diameter of less than 6 mm. Mitotane is the only adrenal-specific agent available for treating adrenocortical cancer. In most patients, treatment should be initiated with a dose that does not exceed 1.5 gram per day. Mitotane can cause hypogonadism and can suppress thyroid stimulating hormone and cause hypothyroidism. Mitotane often causes primary adrenal insufficiency. Replacement of hydrocortisone or prednisone should be started when mitotane doses reach 2 gram per day. The replacement doses of oral hydrocortisone starts at 15 mg in the morning and 10 mg in the afternoon, but must often be doubled or tripled because mitotane increases cortisol metabolism and cortisol binding globulin levels. Combined chemotherapy with etoposide doxorubicin, cisplatin, and mitoten (EDPM) appears to be the most effective regimen for recurrent or metastatic adrenocortical carcinoma. Medical treatment to control secretion of adrenocorticotropic hormone. A new agent, pasireotide, blocks both type 2 and type 5 somatostatin receptors and reduces ACTH secretion in vitro. Mifepristone, a glucocorticoid receptor antagonist, recently became available for patients who failed surgical or irradiation therapies. Bilateral adrenalectomy. Bilateral adrenalectomy offers a definite treatment that provides immediate control of hypercortisolism, but this surgery should be reserved for patients with Cushing disease who have failed all other treatments. Bilateral adrenalectomy is active Cushing disease, often leads to Nelson syndrome, a condition characterized by unabated progression of a corticotropinoma, very high ACT level, and high morbidity. After bilateral adrenalectomy for Cushing disease, in the resulting pituitary adenoma progressively enlarges and it causes local compression with visual field defects and hyperpigmentation. This is called as Nelson syndrome. Medical adrenalectomy. Mineralocorticoid hypertension can be treated with spironolactone, eplerenone, and dihydropyridine calcium channel blockers. Women with hyperkeratogenism may be treated with flutamide, cabergoline 0.5 to 3.5 mg orally twice weekly. Reduced hypercortisolemia in 40% of patients with Cushing disease in one small study. Pasireotide, a multi-receptor targeting somatostatin analog, is a treatment option for refractory ACTH secreting pituitary tumors causing Cushing disease or Nelson syndrome. Ketoconazole inhibits adrenosteroidogenesis and is another treatment option when given in doses of 200 mg every 6 hours. However, it is marginally effective and can cause liver toxicity. Mipirapone can suppress hypercortisolism, required median oral daily doses of 1250 to 1500 mg per day in divided doses. It may be combined with the ketoconazole. Mipirapone may also be used for patients with secretory adrenocortical carcinoma whose hypercortisolism is not fully controlled with mitoten.